I think we should be thumbs up. I am streaming the software and I'm waiting for it to pop up onto it is. It looks like we're live on YouTube. And I welcome you again, Dr. Misak, Pittsburgh Alternative Health, and welcome to our show. And what are we doing? I wanted to talk about just thankful hearts and just welcome everybody. I'll watch for some chat to start coming in. Um, and see who is actually out there on a Saturday holiday weekend. I actually just sent Annie the link, so she is somewhere fishing, and I hope she's enjoying herself. If she pops in, I'll be surprised, but she is welcome to pop in. I've sent her an invitation. Good morning, Indy Paulus. Good morning, DG. Hey, I hope things are going well. I hope everybody had a blessed Thanksgiving. It's just it's really nice to get together with family, have that time, and those type of things. Um, I like again the Bible app. Always like to pull this up first thing in the morning. The Lord. This is from Numbers 6:24 to 26. It says, "The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace." And he does. I mean, he does. There's so much that we could turn around and be thankful for, and it's not easy going into the holidays after the loss that we've had this year, and it's an emotional wreck for my family, and but God's faithfulness and there's just so much to be thankful for, and just the fact of even you guys being there for me and the words you guys have said, the Bible says you get comforted, and it's through people. And I just thank all of you for being out there and listening and everything that you've done. So let's see what we got here. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. Good morning. Sorry I missed last week, but we'll watch the replay. Okay, Linda. So you didn't know that we talked about you last week. I'm just kidding. But I, I, I'm trying to look at what to do. And one of the things I want every one of you to do, and I'm going to keep mentioning throughout here, is a platform. And I think it's called, I'm going to make sure that it's called Rumble, Rumble. And Annie and I are going to switch platforms. We're going to go off of YouTube and we are going to turn around and we're going to switch probably to Rumble because it's non-censored. We have so many followers that are on this channel. We're going to probably do some type of thumbnail that just lets people know. But Rumble is going to be a platform that we're going to try to experiment with that is not being censored and that we can actually let people know what's going on. Since we mentioned the fact that we have near 1,200 followers and we're gaining, we gain between 30 to 100 a month, and sometimes, and then we turn around and I mentioned that our show never goes over a total of 38 people on it, at one particular time. And since we mentioned that we couldn't hit 40 last week, we didn't even hit 30. And so I don't know how this works. And I do know that, one of the people notified me that he went looking for the show on our channel at right now, 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning. And he said that the option for the live show just wasn't even there. And he just kept going back and checking back and found that after 10:30, it was there. It's like some people just aren't even able to see it. They're not getting notifications. We can't explain it. We can turn around, and we've had internet issues at times that we couldn't explain. And so I don't know how, and it's always with YouTube. And so we are going to switch to Rumble. Let's get and Rumble, baby. Hey, right? So how many of you guys used to get into football or whatever? Who knows? Let's see what we got here. Good morning, Leah. Laura Jones. Good morning, Marshall. Good morning. Yes, and I'm glad you guys will see me on Rumble. As soon as unfortunately, we can't turn around and notify everybody in YouTube that we have switched. So what I'm going to do is just keep mentioning Rumble, and I'm going to mention it for the next until we got the platform set up. And I want everybody to get set up, and it will be Doc Misak. Will be my channel name there. As soon as I did set up an account, but I don't have any followers or anything like that. I don't even know how to get followers. I don't even know how to have you find me. I don't even know that how to set up. I'm set up as a member of Rumble right now, but we haven't even established the aspect of being able to run a channel or show or anything. So as soon as we're able to do that stuff, we're going to let you know, and we're just going to move through, and we're going to have some type of thumbnail that will be here on YouTube on our channel that will say "Go to Rumble," and just go and find us, because it's really a little frustrating. To see the interest and the spark and what we get into my office versus what YouTube is suggesting is happening with interest in what we do. It just doesn't add up. And so I thank those of you who tune in every week and those type of things. Let me see. Let's see. Message retracted by Indy Paulus. I wonder if they're retracting it because did you retract that message, or is it getting retracted on you? That's a good question. Doc, what is the difference between cell salts and sodium cluster salts? Thanks for being such a blessing to many. Cell salts versus sodium cluster salts. I don't even know what sodium cluster salts are. You will need to send me a link to understand what sodium cluster salts are. Cell salts are called biochemic salts. They go back, way back in 1920s. Do I have one of my cell salt books here? Or no, I have them all back by my cell salts. But cell salts used to be biochemic salts, and they're by Schussler, Schussler. If you look up Schussler salts or biochemic salts, that book that I told you about with Sky Weintraub, there is no better book. Somebody purchased the book from me when I mentioned it a few weeks ago. And I'm hoping that you looked at that. You got 12 basic descriptions in the front of the book of what the salts do. Very simple, one-page ideals that say, hey, these salts support these basic fundamental tissue occurrences in the body, these biochemic processes, and they support glands, or they support elimination, or they support cellular turnover, or they support nourishment, or they support acid-base imbalance. Some very generalistic approach to what cell salts do. And then you go over and you flip through the book, and it's called a repertory. And a repertory is you find your symptom, and then it tells you the most prominent cell salt associated with that symptom. And so you can turn around and you're going to see that anytime you have inflammation, ferrum phos comes up, or calc phos will come up, or anytime that you have a skin disorder, you're going to see calisulf and calc phos pop up. Anytime that you have water-related issues, whether it be tear ducts, or whether it be urination, or whether it be sweating or something of that effect, you're going to see NatMur pop up, and you might see Calibration from a glandular standpoint. So the cell salts they were recognized in the 31st Congress in 1931, or the 76th Congress in 1931, and recognized when naturopathic medicine on a constitutional level was noted to be, hey, this is not practicing medicine without a license, and anybody who has been appropriately or certified trained to do X, Y, and Z, diet, understanding herbs, cell salts are mentioned in there, tissue salts are mentioned, same thing, but both words are actually used in there. There's aspects of diet or herbalism and those type of things. And if you are trained to do these things, you are not practicing medicine without a license. And it specifically says, as the other side says and suggests, that you are. So you have constitutional protection to do what I'm teaching, especially with understanding the chemistry and those type of things, because it can't be construed as a form of diagnosis or treatment, as long as you've been appropriately trained. So how do we get trained, Doc? That's unfortunate, because, you can, right now, people who go through Michael Ulst's certification, but I don't know that he's done an official certification. He just, hey, buy into my program, boom, here it all is, go through, take all this stuff. And I don't know that he has testing that says, hey, here's level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, whatever, certified. I know Dr. Badeau had 4 levels of certification, but since Dr. Badeau's death, to my knowledge, that site has been shut down as well. And he basically taught by having online videos that you would watch that goes through. It's actually not a video. It's a there are videos embedded, but it's like um, a PowerPoint presentation that you go control and you can go through at your own pace. And when you're done, you have to take a test. And he had 4 levels of certification. And if anybody has done those, I definitely recognize them based upon where they are with what we're doing with the coalition. In the meantime, Betty Reams has done a how to eat basic, a certification for introductory to RBTI, basically knowing how to test and how to eat based upon those numbers. And so that is something I'd recognize in a heartbeat because, learning the food is the key, people. It really is. Hold on. Let me see what we got here. Rumble would be good. I wonder if now I noticed that they retracted your message, Indy. Did they retract it because you put the word Rumble in it earlier? That'd be interesting to know. Good morning, Doc and Annie. I wish Annie would show up. No, it was retracted afterward. Doc, what's the difference between cell salts? Did that? If I got a testing kit you offer, what would I get and how many tests could I do with it? A lot, the only thing that runs out is your nitrate solutions, and as long as you take care of your nitrate solutions, you could get a good year or two out of those nitrate solutions, and and at least test for near a year. And replacing your nitrate solutions are 35 bucks or something like that. It's because you're buying meters. Once you own those meters, just don't break them. And I've had my meters for 12 years. But yeah, I broke a couple of the sensors on. I've had to replace the sensors once on a conductivity meter and twice on a pH meter. Those pH meters are very easy to break. You cannot touch those things. You just kind of rinse them with distilled water. Sometimes we'll spray them with out rubbing alcohol and just let a tissue wick them off, the thing, and then rinse it again with distilled water and then recalibrate it. But you can test and test and test. And people, the only thing that I do is, you'll find that if you look at the meters and stuff that we suggest, you might find that, hey, I can get them a little cheaper, but you're not going to get all of my information. So when we send somebody testing equipment, we send handouts and book, just lots of material. We give you charts on being able to recognize your the nitrate charts, because the charts that are out there are just crap. We give you a chart for looking at testing the urine cell debris. We give you instructions on how to do the test. We give you the information on how to eat based upon the numbers. We share with Betty Reams's handout with regards to how to blend foods or how to mineralize foods, and just the handouts on eating by the numbers. We give you the range chart and breaking down the prominent calciums and what foods are in those ranges. So you can turn around, you don't have to hunt for a food. You can just look, these are the BC foods, these are the DE foods. And when I fall into the A range, I can eat any of them, but I really should test and see what they do. And so, you learn the diet that's appropriate for you. So you can test for years. It's just you'll have to replace those nitrate solutions at some point with buying a full testing equipment. So let me see what else we have. Good morning, Diana. It was me. Oh, I missed that, Marcia. I'd be happy to follow you guys on Rumble. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Can you briefly cover the different types of headaches and how to resolve them? Oh, or I got a set of numbers by Dan. Ooh, now we're making this show fun. Good. So when you're looking at headaches, the bottom aspect of headaches is why are you getting them? And they are lack of oxygen right there to that brain. And the nitrates will tell you which side. The nitrates point to the right or left, and if they point to the right side of the body, it's the left side of the brain. If they point to the left side of the body, it's the right side of the brain. And then the pHs, depending on you can see patterns. Really, it's better to look at the sugars and salts. The sugars and salts will tell you if the headache is going to be more frontal are more towards the back of the head. And so there's a chart out there that actually suggests that really low sugar headaches are back of the head and high sugar headaches are front of the head. Yet I see it total opposite. I see people who are getting the point 0.8, point 0.9. It's pinpoint right over their eye and in the front of their head. And people, when they get to if they get their bricks around 3 to 4, and they're getting the headaches usually top of the head. 5 or 6 is usually the ones that are coming up behind the back of the head. And so it's basically it's oxygen availability. But the question is what's triggering it. So if you're getting those cluster headaches where you can't focus and think and your brain's just not working and it's usually high sugars, you're eating a food that your body can't tolerate. And let me tell you, a food allergy or a food intolerance will cause a headache like that. I mean, I've seen wheat cause headaches, wheat, corn, soy, dairy, peppers, tomatoes, potato. Those nightshades they're horrible for triggering headaches in people. And some people it's gastrointestinal complaints. Some people it's skin disorders with eczema. So then we could go into homeopathy. And you look at these things called miasms, miasms, miasms. And there's even books written on miasms. I know I have one over here somewhere. And there's keynotes with no-sodes, and I don't know which one. I think it was Abbott or somebody. But miasms, there's basic miasms in homeopathy. There's a psoric miasm where things tend to be more superficial and go to the skin. There's a syphilitic miasm, which things are bursting and exploding, so you can still see skin reactions, but it's very intense. There's the tuberculinum miasm, and that's people who tend to get tubercular miasm, tend to get respiratory issues and stuff. And that's where people have used no-sodes to try to break these miasmic patterns. And there's one more, syphilitic, psoric. I'm blanking. Wow. Somebody's going to have to help me with the other miasm. See? Don't remember everything from medical school or pharmacy. That was pharmacy. Homeopathy and pharmacy don't mix, by the way. But miasms give a presentation of a general pattern that the body will follow. And when you see a typical pattern of healing or disease, you can sometimes give a miasmatic remedy, a homeopathic miasm remedy, and it just helps to break that pattern while you're doing RBTI and starting to identify what's going on. So headaches, again, it's what you're eating, food allergies, boom, spikes those sugars up, lack of oxygen, and then also eating the wrong carbohydrates. Certain people will eat, it's hard to predict, but, one sugar in me might cause a total sugar crash in you or vice versa. So I don't do well with maple. I love maple. Yeah, I love maple butter. Oh, my God, isn't that so good? Put butter on a fresh baked bread and slap some maple butter on top of it. Oh, delicious, and puts me right to sleep. I will sugar crash. Within 30 minutes, I can take a nap or less. It's just, it happens every time, Honey. Honey is, a lot of people are reactive to honey. And, hey, it's a great sweetener. Manuka honey, we can talk about all the benefits, and I could talk about all the things that can be in honey that can be immune stimulating and all types of benefits from honey. A friend of mine is now a doctor. When we were in school, we had this Northwest herbs class. Great class. You got to go out in nature. You got to identify herbs. You got to everybody had to do a paper to write up the history and identify where do you identify this herbs? What are the characteristics of this herbs? What is the benefits of this herbs? What are the concerns with these herbs? And so everybody had to write up these wonderful, learn about these herbs by pulling all this book information together and making it into one handout. And so I have this beautiful bound handout that my assistant, Chris, I'm just like, that's my favorite class ever. And I'm like, take it, get whatever you want, photocopy whatever you want out of it, whatever. And when she brought it back, she organized it. She took pressed flowers and put them with them. oh my gosh, she made it into the most gorgeous binder and the best book that I've ever had. But one of those handouts was on honey. It was by Dr. Benjamin Luna. If you look him up, he's a really nice guy. He had a boy while we were in school, but he did a write-up of what everybody's writing up about herbs, that we did. He wrote up about honey, another natural product, and just all the benefits from it. It's one of my favorite resources to go back and see what are all these things. And this is 20 plus years ago. So anyway, headaches, look for, bottom line, you have to look for what's triggering the headache. It's not, and how do you take care of it? If you got high sugars, you got to stabilize them and bring them down. Drinking water. Sometimes if the sugar salt ratio is off, those high salts, those will trigger headaches as well. And so just going through and trying to figure out the pattern and breaking that pattern is the way we do it. So let me do this real quick. Let's see, 1.5, 6.3 over 7.07C, 4M, and 1 over 5. Okay, so we have a 39-year-old male here who just put his numbers in, and you guys can see, you got bricks. I'm going to lower this down a little bit, but a bricks of 1.5. So sugar to salt ratio is a little bit high. Not bad. It's almost perfect actually. It's 1.5 to 6.5 is perfect. So hey, he's drinking water. He's been on an RBTI program. Had to 6.3. He's falling in the healing range, right? As far as overall efficiency. But this right here, look at that 7 right there, and look at this 1 over 5. There's something going on with the liver and the pancreas and the ability to take food and make it into energy, right? So you're not breaking it down because your bile is way too weak, and so you're not making the enzymes to build proteins, and so you're extremely potassium deficient. And so when you're potassium deficient, this 1.5, even though it's right and your oxygen level should be good, this is a tendency for crashing. When you are between, anywhere less than 5.49, you can have a tendency for crashing sugars. And so this person would get frontal headaches, and then right over left, so it's going to be right-sided in the front. Is where you can get these headaches. But the bottom line is your saliva pH is saying, hey, my liver's too stinking congested, and my liver is not able to digest things that transmit and make food into buildable cells. So you have to work here, as you keep this 6.3 in association where it's supposed to be in the A range. You can see the sugars will be easier to regulate. So your potential energy is good. Hey, my energy is good, but my digestion stinks. You're going to have adrenal crashes, potassium deficiency. You're going to have muscle cramps. You're going to have restless sleep. There's a lot of symptoms that are going to present with this. So you have to strengthen that bile. And so how do you do that? Your liver's all congested. You need to flush your liver out. I don't know, where, what all you're taking to drive those numbers there, but you need a liver flush. And I would be taking potassium in the meantime. And that potassium is just going to help you with regards to, you can start pushing up your potassium levels until you get those nitrates up to something that's doable. And you'll notice that your brain, your thinking will come back because you're going to the refrigerator and wondering why you went there. And so the idea is you got to strengthen that bile. Naturopathically, you could use bitters, taking herbal bitters prior to your meals. You could use betaine hydrochloride and digestive enzymes. Not a bad idea in that case. Digestine by daily is a good product. You need to flush out your liver. You need to get some potassium in you. And potassium-rich foods. It looks like you would have a tendency towards fast oxidation, so avocados would be your friend. Coconut milk, as long as you're not type O and react to coconut. That coconut water, rather, that's loaded with potassium. Apricots, loaded with potassium. And that would start helping that brain a little bit and help you to start transferring some of that energy into where it needs to be. Let me see what else we got. I retracted myself. All right. I try to do that on a daily basis too sometimes. Interesting. Good morning, Carolyn. How are you? Late again. Did I miss anything? You did. We were talking about you, Carol. The whole idea is the Carol Worsham show. And we were trying to start it out, but we couldn't get you online, so we dropped it. But things are going well. You didn't miss anything. Prophet Bear, God bless Misak family. Thank you so much. Sue, sorry, just joining in this morning. What about MS and headaches? I haven't been able to get samples yet to test. They found gray matter in the brain, headaches all the time. Well, when you see those nitrates at 1/5, you got an extreme brain issue. Okay, so you got where you're not able to produce energy, and if that person, if you have, if that one of those pHs was closer to like 7 point above 7.4, then I'd be looking specifically for a brain issue. You possibly have parasites in those numbers right there, and parasites will aggravate brain issues. I don't like to confirm parasites, but when you see more than, you know, usually with parasites, you'll see the top number go higher on those nitrates. It'll spike up high, but you will see a pH above 7. And so when I see pHs above 7, I start thinking, it's possible for parasites here. How's the digestion going? Oh, they're not building anything. And when you see that 1/5, that 5 is saying, hey, for my total amount of nitrates, the majority of them are not digesting stuff. So you're going to get overgrowth. Particularly if I see that 5 get up to a 7, then I start looking for overgrowth and giving people, definitely, if your ammonia nitrate's a 7 or above, I'll have you on probiotics. But you start looking for what's triggering that off. You're not going to sleep well with those numbers, or you're not sleeping well, and that's causing part of those numbers. But there's, MS. If MS is involved with those issues, right-sided, leftover, let's see, right, I would say probably somewhere more in this area. If you're having breakdown, it'd be in the parietal, in the back part of the brain, is where that would kind of point to when you're looking at a set of numbers like that. But I want to see more information before. So if you came in telling me you're MS, I'd be like, yep. And what does it mean? Does that mean that now you have to take a specific form of a nutrient in order to affect right there? No, you do the exact same thing. You still have to increase your potassium levels. Essential fatty acids, you're not utilizing them because of that bile is so weak. So you're not going to break down your fats, and you need fat for your brain. So having essential fatty acids and stuff would be beneficial. You're going to get me stuck on one set of numbers, guys, but that's kind of what's going on. You guys got to tell me what you want to do, though. Let me see. Can you do a run through on calibration of the testers? Well, how do I calibrate you as a tester? That's interesting. Calibration. Calibration of those meters is not hard. Just make sure they're rinsed off, particularly your conductivity meter. Just make sure you've rinsed it and it's at 0 or a 1. And then you put the calibration solution, that 1.41 solution, on the meter. Just drop it on there and then hit calibrate. And when it gives a smiley face, it's done. Rinse it off. It's a still water. It's good. pH meter, same thing. Just make sure it's cleaned off. And then you pour the calibration solution in there. There's a 7.01 and there's a 4.01. There's two calibration solutions for the pH for higher and lower pH ranges. And so you pour the 7.01 and then see what it reads, and if it's not, 7.01 or very, very close to that, you hit calibrate, you hold it down and you wait till a smiley face comes on. You rinse it off. You pour the 4.01 solution in there. You wait and see what it reads. If it's not anywhere near 4.01 and the lower aspect is off, you hit calibrate and it gets a smiley face when it's done. And then you rinse it off and then you have a calibrated meter. It takes less than a minute to calibrate these meters. The refractometer, you have a digital refractometer, if I remember correctly. You just put the still water on it and hit 0, and it zeroes out, and then you put your sample on. The problem is somebody, I've had somebody in the past accidentally zero out their meter. They hit the 0 button before they hit the test button with urine on there. And then from that point forward, that refractometer is calibrated to urine, which they had low sugars, so it was off about less than 1.5, but it was off. So every time they put something on there, it was starting at, between 1 and 1.5 as a baseline for 0. And so they were like, my sugars are like 0.3. I'm like, there's no way your sugars are 0.3 every day. Did you calibrate your refractometer? And if you have one of those manual ones, just make sure it's clean. Put a drop of distilled water on there, looking through it so the light comes through. And then if it does not read 0 with distilled water on there, get out that little screwdriver and adjust it until it reads 0. So calibration is not something difficult, and it only takes a matter of a minute or less, and it is important to do. And I do. Do I calibrate every day? Hell no, I don't, because I don't see my meters getting thrown off. They stay calibrated very, very well. But if you're only testing every 3-4 weeks or something like that, calibrate your meters when you get them out. It takes less than a minute. Just make sure they're on where they're supposed to be, and you'll be thankful that you did, because it's going to show the validity of what you're doing. Let me see what else we got here. Good morning from Perth, Western Australia. Oh my God, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning there. Wow. It's probably a full moon too, is it? Check it out. Let's see. Jackie, thank you, Doc. Anytime. Just Leah, good morning, Doc. Message retraction. Where else has that been in the news? Where else has what been in the news? Message retraction. I don't know. I mean, the whole thing is what I like is Candace Owens is suing the fact checkers for their fact checking for Facebook and these things that they're, hey, we fact checked that, so we're going to pull it. And so she's fact checking the fact checkers and finding that they're not fact checking. So, so Candace Owens, support her in her lawsuits against, freedom of speech. I mean, it's ridiculous of what's going on. What about Manuka honey? Manuka honey is wonderful. It's loaded with healthy aspects of immune stimulating and benefits. It's got a price tag behind it. But can you still react to Manuka honey? Yeah, you can. Honey is honey. To me, at least, I haven't found that honey doesn't make me get tired and sleepy. I can take agave and make something so stinking sweet. It's not even funny, and my sugars will stay fine with it, But I put honey or maple syrup in to sweeten anything for myself. Oh my God, I may as well check out for the next hour, because within 15 to 30 minutes, I'm going to be like trying to keep my eyes open, and just let me sit here and digest, I'll close my eyes and sleep for 30 minutes, and then I have to come back and get my sugars back up and eat something different that's usually protein oriented. So I love them, people. But, so how many of you, if we're talking about today, the goal was talk about Thanksgiving, because there is so much to be thankful for. I could turn around and just go over crap after crap after crap. But what does that do? It makes you feel like crap, right? So let's look at what we are thankful for. I mean, the beauty of being able, I don't know why God gifted me with what I know and to share this. I love sharing it with you guys. I don't, he gives us so much, and he just enables us to accomplish all that we need to do. And there is so much to be thankful for on a daily basis. Heck, I got a sauna in my downstairs. That's thankfulness, people. Getting in that infrared sauna and just dripping out. You can run these toxic tests. We've talked about organic acid testing and testing for environmental toxins and all that. When I ran my environmental toxin test, like I said, everything that comes out with the sauna was low, except what I told you is that I had high styrenes, and I knew it was from that Thai food that I was ordering about twice a week. And I make them put it in a plastic container, and I still get in the sauna, and that sauna is just amazing. So many things to be thankful for. But, how many of you guys went and ate like, oh my God, like I never eat before? And so the one thing I did is I stayed away from the desserts. I did not eat the pumpkin pie. I did not eat the zucchini bread, because it all had wheat in it, and I knew what it would have done to me, with the crust. And I would have been like, oh. So we were at family, and after lunch, all the kids and the boys and all the majority of them just went, they took naps. They crashed. I'm like, oh my God, and so you crashed after eating? Or how many of you still feel bloated and just like, I don't feel right ever since Thursday because I ate too much food and it just ain't moved out yet. And I ain't moving down there the right way because we talked about poop last week, right? Yeah. Come on. Do you want to feel like that? So what do? Hey, come to my office, do a colonic. That's a good place to start. Flush that stuff out of you. And so, how do you get back? Just get back on track. Get back and drinking your water, getting that bricks back under control. And water will help the bowels move. You have to pee, poop, and sweat the junk out, people. And so after something where we can, being thankful is huge, and it's in attitude, and that's where that aspects of self-awareness comes in on whether you can, have gratitude and positive attitude, and I don't know, I try to be Dr. Seuss and start making everything rhyme here in a minute, but find your thankfulness and your joys, because if you're thinking about all the crap and you're eating like crap and you feel like crap and you're just going to have more crap every single day, why don't you just go watch the movie RV and when Robin Williams was trying to pump out that crap and laugh a little bit about crap, and just move forward and try to say, okay, what's good, and try to hold on to that, because if you don't, it'll eat you up, literally. And you will watch your numbers go to crap, literally. And so those numbers can reflect where you are mental, emotionally. And so Doctor, there are many stories, and I'm amazed Betty's not on today. Oh, she is on. And so there are many stories where Dr. Reams would just turn around and he would just confront somebody on a spiritual, mental, emotional level. And so I just got a text message from Annie, and it says, I don't have signal anywhere. Amazing morning fishing. She's out fishing. So let's give her a big smiley face and say enjoy. And and enjoy. Thank you for giving me this moment to communicate with Annie. There we go. So, so there is so much going on, people. Let me see what else we have here. That's about Manuka honey. Bless you and your family. Thank you very much, Holly. I must reconnect with you. Last spoke when you were first on PSB. Is PSB even? I don't even know if those videos are still on my link. If they completely eradicated all those Patriot Soapbox, because YouTube shut that right-sided channel down completely. So I don't even know if they're still out there. So Holly, just give us a call, run some numbers, put your numbers up here, and let's see what we can talk about. You are a bad boy, making fun of me. Shame, shame. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Carolyn, I'm not making fun of you. I was just giving you a rise. Love you to death, too. Can we get the RBTI interpretation handouts you mentioned earlier? The RBTI, you mean as far as for testing? Yeah, if you buy your testing equipment through me, you get the handouts. If you come to one of our retreats, you get the handouts. Are they available? No. We're writing a book. The book's going to come out. The book is finished. I'm working on the cover of the book. Annie is working. She's giving me a thing. Health by the numbers. See? Restorative health. Yes, restorative health by the numbers. This is going to be the functional book working cover. We're working on this. These are my scribbling, trying to say what we're going to put on this, and on the back, Annie's like, here, Doc, work on this. And so it's kind of on the back. But when we're going to have a book that's going to give you a basis of what all we're talking about, and then we're going to come out with a second book that is an application book. Do this. Put your numbers here, what's your age, what's your weight, how do you calculate it out? And even more importantly, and Betty knows about this, is that we have a computer program that we are trying to link to bring to America, to where we're not going to be, quote, diagnosing and prescribing based upon a said diagnosis, but where we can put your numbers in, and based upon your height, weight, age, everything, that will give you a basic what to do by you joining a private group. You join a private group. It's called the Bioelectric Quantum Health Coalition, and then you will have access. It's $15 a year to join. Everybody who comes to my office has to join because we're private. This is all. So I share private information on this channel. Ooh, I'm making it public. But you can't find out the real stuff unless you come in here or you join the coalition. And so the coalition website is actively being, it's near finished. What we do need is to link it to the computer program that allows you how to put your numbers in, and it's going to tell you what to do as a generalization. It's a very basic program with very safe starting recommendations that are no more than people taking multivitamins, but giving you specific nutrients based upon your specific chemistry and specific guidelines that your chemistry says, hey, think about it. You say, what is good health? And so we talk about deficiency versus excess. Either you're deficient and you don't have what you need to handle the excesses, the toxins and stuff that's in this world. So if you have something that you can't deal with, your body should have some natural process to eliminate it, right? You got to pee, poop, and sweat more than you accumulate. But what if you don't have the nutrients needed for that to happen? And what nutrients are mostly needed? Well, when you break it down to energy, which is what Carrie Reams did, it comes down to minerals. And it comes down to your soil. What does the Bible say you are? Dust, dirt, soil. You go to ashes. What's it made of? When you go back to ashes, minerals, 60% calcium, 24% phosphorus, 12% potassium, 85 other trace minerals. You are a working soil in progress. And that soil composition dictates the efficiency of what's happening in your body and how much energy you produce and your ability to handle those toxicities versus being deficient and not being able to process them. So when you're looking at RBTI, what you're looking at are what are the basic nutrients needed for the efficiency to improve based upon the understanding that we have. Because Dr. Ream says, hey, I was in kindergarten with this stuff. So I'm in preschool, people, because I can't do what he did. But I know how to move the numbers, and I can recognize patterns that say, this is where it's going on. So let's look at all these various things that can affect this and find out which one works for you. And that's what I do. I just kind of like work backwards and say, what makes sense to make this work? So anyway, let's see what else we have here. Nursing home residents with diaper rash. Is there anything natural we could try? Yes, there is. I mean, zinc paste is always good because zinc helps with tissue. He's got to move around, but that zinc paste, zinc does help. You can, if you get bed sores, you can actually pack them with honey. And so the high concentration of the sugar prevent any bacterial growth, and it will heal up. That's an old naturopathic way of packing bed sores, and getting them to get better. Circulation, getting a mat that vibrates, something that gets movement in there, or even those infrared mats with pulsed electromagnetic fields, PEMF. You really want to do something, go to my website, Pittsburgh Alternative Health, go to the links page, and there's a healthy mats there, and there is pulsed electromagnetic fields, PEMF. And PEMF will stimulate tissue circulation and restoration. And so you can do that to stimulate blood flow and stuff to the area, because that's what's happening is, when you're seeing those type of things. But a diaper rash basically says that food that they're feeding this person in the nursing home is coming out and irritating the crap out of their tissues, yet alone what's happening from here to down there, what's it doing to the digestive tract? So you're going to see other skin disorders or whatever that person's miasm is, which we talked about, syphilitic versus psoric versus the other one that I can't seem to remember today. I'm going to go there just so I can remember it because it's eating me up. And I think that the YouTube just went down. No, it popped back up. So I don't know why that happened, but I noticed it just kind of shut down for a second. Let me see what else we have. But zinc paste can help with that. It's something in that person's diet. It's diet. You got to stop what's going down the pipe. The sugar, the Jello, the wheat, the crap wheat products that they feed them. They need to eat stuff that's appropriate. See if you can get them on the blood type diet and just stop eating the stuff that their blood type says to stop eating. But it's food, unfortunately. Let me see. Hey, Betty. Um, for a new client, after which meal is best to get the first reading, or doesn't matter? Dr. Reams taught that after breakfast and after lunch, 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. were the ideal times to test. You start seeing um, cortisol levels, and your thyroid kicks in the morning, so you get your body's on rhythmic spikes with your cortisol, and as that cortisol goes up, you start burning off. You start utilizing energy. Your sugars will crash. So people sugar crash between 11 and 2 o'clock, but then at 2 o'clock you get this second spike with your cortisol levels, and your sugars naturally start coming up from that point. And so you can tell based upon the 10 a.m. versus the 2. One of them is telling you, hey, how are you eating? And the other is telling you, hey, do I need better supplementation? And based upon those readings, um, it's good to plan when do I take certain supplements. So some people, their pHs will crash in the morning. Other people, their pHs will crash in the evening, or vice versa. And so if you see a pattern, that's where, and the best person to teach the patterns is Michael Alsta. He'll turn around and say, you need to test 3 times a day. And you need to take every week or something to that, once a week, testing breakfast, lunch, dinner, 2 hours after, learning your pattern, and then deciding how you're taking your supplements based upon when you spike or crash and what supplements you take with that particular meal. Supplements are important, people, but start with diet. Look at how you're eating, and then you got to see, am I just eating something every day at lunchtime that's crashing me out? And causing my sugars and salts to go up, pH to go down, food allergy. That's you got to start with diet, period. And learn and see what that's doing. Am I drinking enough water? Do I just work all day and forget about drinking, and everything just keeps creeping up until I feel like, oh my God, I got to do something. And then you want to eat, and then you start drinking water, and and you're in this nasty, vicious cycle. So I like people to get pH strips and refractometer, and every time you pee, check those 3 values and just write them down, and just watch what your urine and saliva and are doing with the bricks, the pH and the pH of the urine and saliva and the bricks of the urine, and just watch it what those are doing, every single day. And do a little graph and map them out or something, and say, oh my God, there's a pattern here. There always is. And you can learn if you're eating the wrong foods, or you need to drink something more at particular times a day. And but bottom line, if you're testing and you want to know the efficiency of your body with regards to the food that you just ate and whether you're getting energy out of that food, you test 1.5 to 2 hours after you ate. Period. So that's the one thing is you can always test 1.5 to 2 hours after you ate to see your efficiency with that meal. So if you're eating at, oh my God, it's working, and I eat at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, test at 4:30 to 5. And then you'll see where you are with that meal. And then you'll probably see that, oh my God, with this pattern, my brix is high, my sugar, my salts are high, my my ammonia levels are going up, my cell debris is going up, my uh, saliva pH is up, because you're not supporting your body the way that it needs to be supported based upon your lifestyle. So that's what you need to understand. Is like you can live whatever lifestyle you choose to live, but if you learn these numbers and how they reflect in that lifestyle, you will learn that it's in your interest to change your lifestyle to have these numbers into a healthy pattern. And so Reams said, choose life or death. That's simple. Hey, let's turn this into legalism. I'm not there. We all are broken people. Well, learn to understand your brokenness. And how can you change you? These numbers equip you with the ability to change you and feel it. It's up to you. That's what I teach. I mean, I can't be everybody's doctor. That's why I had a show on when do you need a doctor. If you learn the basics, you'll find that you really don't end up at a doctor's office. You just learn to see where your imbalances are, and you got to find your acceptance of who you are and what you want to do to choose to make that difference to be Something different. That's what it comes down to, right? All right, let's see what else we got. Please ask Adam. It's Adel, Adel, not Adam, to make the RBTI videos public again on his YouTube channel, We the People Insider. I had every one of those listed on my website. I think that YouTube crashed and took them down, but I can mention it to him. Check out First Harvest Ministries, Professor Toto's class. You guys, what a blessing. You will laugh a lot. Good medicine. Oh, First Harvest Ministries. I got to remember that because I got to go back and do that. I'm actually going to take a picture of your little note right there so I can do that. And so, because I won't remember otherwise. Bum, bum, bum. Thank you very much. And let's see. Hi, Betty. Hope you are doing well, Carolyn. Linda started taking TUDCA recently, and I noticed improvement in my liver. Is it okay to take a bile salt supplement indefinitely? Well, if your liver's out, it's because it's not producing quality bile. So what is needed for it to produce quality bile? That's your question, and so lemon, and then you need lemon, and then you probably need lemon and maybe some water and lemon and calcium and a trace amount of iodine, maybe an algazim one a day, and lemon. And people, lemon is potent, and use it judiciously. Don't drink it all day long unless you understand the principles of what you're doing. But drinking that 1 to 9 ounce ratio at the end of your meals to stimulate that digestion. This 39-year-old male who's having issues, lemon after your meals would be huge for you. Lemon all day long with those nitrates, you're going to feel it. Let me see. I don't know what TUDCA is, actually. I find there's a lot of good things out there for the liver. I have a lot of people drink burdock tea in the evenings. That can really be beneficial. Burdock root tea, dandelion root tea. They don't taste the best. You can mix them with something else. Sometimes I'll put them in with a sleepy time to have that that chamomile, because chamomile is a digestive carminative as well. It calms things down. You can also, everyone always hears of milk thistle, kind of helps recircle. Schisandra berry, adaptogenic and stimulate the liver. Another is Chancropedra. Doesn't that sound good? Chancropedra. Yeah. If you guys know what chancra is, then you'll be like, wow, that's a weird name for an herb. And those who don't know what chancra is, syphilis, we can go and talk about that. Let's see. But love the PEMF mat. Jackie, you got one. Aren't those awesome? I got one for my mom about 5 years ago. She sleeps on it every night. And so for somebody who's debilitating osteoarthritis, her knees are blown and to where her ankles have been folding in. So my mom moves slow, but she doesn't have pain. Not like she would expect. She's on no pain meds. And she attributes it to the basic supplements that I've given her, and that mat, sleeping on that mat every night. So let me see. Hey, Luke, how are you? Thank you for joining. Holly, don't have test equipment yet. Last 23 months fighting unidentified parasitic infections. Long story. Possibly leishmanosis. pH of 8 was 8.5. Sounds like a brain issue. 3 squamous cell carcinoma source, 2 removed. Very high vitamin D, very low iron. You need Rife equipment and you need RBTI guidance. You've got to move. You got to support the chemistry to move. And but a Rife machine and the right one, whether you get a true Rife or whether you get the GB4000 or something to start honing in to electrically help you. I use the multi-wave oscillator. Sometimes those energy frequencies, because everything is energy, you need those to get through that type of stuff. But don't just jump on a Rife machine and think it's going to cure you. You better take care of your RBTI stuff first. Remember, blue thumbs up. Marty, thanks for keeping everybody on tack. Blue thumbs up, people. That kind of helps us. You can also listen to healing music. Oh my God, people. Solfeggio frequencies. Look it up. Solfeggio frequencies are basic frequencies where they've identified the aspects of um, let me answer this. Excuse me. Uh, solfeggio frequencies are when music was music, and before Rockefeller had 432 hertz changed to 440 hertz as a standard tuning, because music at 432 and tuned around that was in harmonic with nature. And so now there's just a little bit of it's a little bit off kilter. And so it's kind of like just hey, something's not right with that. Music just doesn't feel exactly right. So there have been some people. If you go and listen to John Lennon's original Imagine, he tuned it to 396 hertz. So if you go Google, John Lennon Imagine 396 hertz, you will find on YouTube where somebody turns around and puts a 396 hertz frequency in the background and you hear it playing. Well, guess what? Tesla said there's something magic about 396 hertz. 396 hertz is a solfeggio frequency. 528 hertz is a solfeggio frequency in association with restoring DNA. And so go look up these solfeggio frequencies and music in association with them where the tunings have been changed. There's a CD set called Whole Tones, and the story is about a guy who tuned his guitar down. His mom had pancreatic cancer. He tuned his guitar down to 432 hertz, I believe it was, and he just sat there and played guitar for his mom. And the next day, the pancreatic tumor was gone, just disappeared. And so he turned around and recorded all this music based upon the experience, and that nobody could explain medically what just happened because his mom was not doing well and had pancreatic cancer. That went poof by him playing music. How does that make sense, right? In today's medicine, it doesn't. But if you look at the aspects of understanding things quantum on a bioelectric quantum health coalition type of standard, it makes a lot of sense. If you look at somebody, what Rife did with regards to frequencies on specific microbes, and if light frequencies cancel out and they would go poof. Hey, it makes a lot of sense. I'm not making health claims with these things. I'm telling you to test the science and do your own research. But try sleeping. If you can't sleep, put on some 396. 396 is all about change. It's about satisfaction and with changing your heart and moving things forward. Amazing stuff, people. But, oh my God, we're almost out of time. It's 10:58. Almost made it through another hour. Let me see here. Great show, Doc. Thank you, Marty. Thanks, Doc. I drink lemon every day, but maybe I need to drink more and more water. Just watch your numbers. That's all you got to do. Thank you for the extra supplements that will help build my liver. Toro deoxychloric acid. Okay, so basically what you think that thing called Toro is from taurine. And taurine actually helps you make bile salts. And taurine helps with osmotic regulation of cells in people who have very hard aspects of being able to accept minerals. A lot of them are taurine deficient, particularly if you're having heart palpitations, because taurine helps regulate heart by regulating the movement of minerals in and out of cells. And so you could take taurine, because a lot of liver-based supplements will have taurine and choline and methionine, these basic amino acid structures, which is what Ream says lemon naturally has. But I don't know if it has taurine, but I will give taurine to people. And there's no harm in you taking that. But the only harm is that if you are providing bile salts, you're telling your body on negative feedback mechanisms that it doesn't need to make as many. And so I'm more into stimulating it to do it on its own and providing those minerals or nutrients. Sometimes I will give choline, or phosphatidylcholine, or using taurine or methionine and stuff like that to help in that aspect of your body having what it needs to make them from an amino acid standpoint. Absolutely. Do you have a source for buying Shaga? Yeah, I get most of my mushrooms from Host Defense. That's Paul Stamen's company. There are other ones that are coming out there, but I can't think of anybody more of a mycologist and on these things than Paul Stamens, Stamets, I think. But his company is called Host Defense, and we could probably order those type of things. But he everything he does is quality. Thank you, Jackie, for those ideas. Yes, the PEMF mat's amazing. I listen to solfeggio frequencies all the time. It keeps me calm in the midst of chaos. But Betty Reams has the least chaotic life of anybody I've ever seen. She just handles it. Her dog has right there with her. So, and Betty is laughing right now. Linda Thornton, I'm happy to help. Yeah. Okay. So we have lived through another hour. Thank you, people. Thank you for just tuning in. Thank you for blessings. Thank you for words of encouragement. I hope this has helped people. I hope the person that we look at their numbers today, that you get on some potassium, that you support that bile, and you figure out what's going on with you. There's probably a viral issue or parasitic issue, but I do other testing with looking at live blood, and stuff like that to try to get an idea of what makes sense to confirm all of that. So people, don't let the blessings cease, because they never do. God is infinitely good, and there is infinitely more good than the evil that we all easily get focused in on of what's going on in this world. So just keep praying, hang in there. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you all. I'll see you later.